Hi, friends. I'm Tolly Meggs, founder of Out of the Boat Ministries. I just want to tell you a little bit about how I got to where I am today. Back in 2001, I was working in public health. I had a very wonderful career that I loved and that I was successful in, and really no thoughts that I would ever do anything other than that. But the Lord used a series of events, most notably the unexpected death of my mother, to really turn my focus and my heart in another direction, His direction for my life. See, for years I'd known that God had gifted me to teach, and I was doing that in my own way and on my own terms. But as He drew me closer and closer to His heart, my desires began to change. I began to want what He wanted for me more than my own preconceived notions about what success or happiness might look like for me and my family. I really began to sense that He was calling me from the career that I knew quite well into uncharted waters. And He verified that one morning as I sat completing a Bible study. I was studying the passage in John 21 where after the resurrection of Christ, the disciples have gone back to doing what they know to do. They were fishermen, and they were in a boat fishing on the Sea of Galilee. So the scene in that chapter is that John describes they are out in the boat, they look toward the shore, and John recognizes that it's the risen Christ. And when he remarks to Peter that it was the Lord, he says that Peter, against all rational thought, jumped out of the boat and began swimming to the shore to get to Jesus as quickly as he could. Now, I'd read that passage many times before then, but on that particular morning, I was struck with the picture of a grown man whose life was comfortable and settled in a fishing boat, probably more so than any other place on the planet, jumping out of that boat in all out pursuit of Christ. The Lord used that story as a mirror for my own life, which was at the time one that was comfortable and complacent in my Christian walk, truly a life that was not making an impact on the world for God's kingdom in any way. I began that day to sense that He was asking me if I would be willing to jump out of my boat to do something that would seem completely irrational to most people. Leave a life of a safe and secure and lucrative career to pursue a life of teaching the Bible, a calling that would be one that would instruct the church that by and large is biblically illiterate, and a calling that would take me to places to evangelize the lost, places that at the time I'd never heard of and certainly didn't care anything about. A calling that was asking me to prove that I believed He was worthy of my all, no matter how much it would cost me. And in 2002, I jumped, and I've never looked back. To say that God has been faithful to provide for me and my family would be an understatement. He really has done more than I could ask or imagine. He allows me to represent Him all over this country and in countries literally around the world because, friends, there's nowhere in the world that He would ask me to go that I would not go to make His glory known. You know why? Because He desires it and He deserves it. Frankly, I'm just so stunned that He even cares that I'm down here, much less that He would send His own Son to die for me. How could I but love and serve a God like that? So if you believe that you or your church might want to partner with me or Out of the Boat Ministries for a retreat or a conference or a mission trip, I pray that you'll contact me and let's just see how the Holy Spirit can use our gifts and our energy and our love for the Lord together to make Him famous among all people.